So a standard distribution curve, what is called a bell curve, describes how people respond to any stimulus, no matter what it is, like pressure point or punch in the head or a gun. So, you can have a gun and shoot somebody and they keep coming at you. And it's easy to say, well, the gun didn't work, and now what do I do? But they might respond really well to something else. The gun didn't work, but maybe if you tapped them on a pressure point, that would work. Or stuck your little finger in their eye, that might work. So you wouldn't throw the gun away because it didn't work on everybody. Pressure points are like that. Pressure points don't work on everybody. It's a bell curve, a standard distribution curve, which means that pressure points work consistently on 80% of the population. And then you've got about 10% of the population, they work, but it's a little bit of a struggle. And then you've got another, maybe 6-7% of the population that you really have to put it all together to make it work. And then there's always a couple people on the extreme edges who just doesn't do anything at all. Here's a great example. This is James, and you see me beating on James, and I hit him on a pressure point. And you get a little bit of a reaction, but it's not huge. Now, compare that to Mariano, same target, and down he goes. So that tells you something about where they fall on that spectrum. Mariano falls on the sort of very, very responsive end, whereas James fell in the less responsive end. But here's the thing that's really interesting about that is that Mariano was fine. For him, it was just, wow, that was really cool. Thank you so much. James, he was kind of messed up for a while after that. I understand a couple of days. You see, that's the thing, that when your body reacts and pulls you away, causes you to drop down and collapse easily, your body also is protecting you from the effect of the energy that's going into you, the injury, and it dissipates really fast. But the people who can sort of take it, right, and they're like, oh, it's not going to work on me, or maybe they don't feel it very much, that energy all just goes in and stays in and can actually be worse for you. So, in the long run, in terms of your long-term health, it's much better to be like Mariano. In the short term, if it's like you're having a fight in an alley, it's better to be a little more like James, so that you can fight back and maybe escape, and then you're just feeling it the next day. I should say something, though, because there's a tendency for people to look at that and to say, well, yeah, but if a pressure point doesn't work in a guy like James, then you did your great technique and you're really out of luck. And that's not actually true. Here's what I've observed, is that even when you aren't going down and you're a little bit, you still have a hard time fighting. You lose motor control. You're still on your feet, you're still conscious, but you lose motor control. And so to me, this is one of the great gifts of pressure point fighting. If you do pressure point fighting properly, and you come in with your attack and it works, person's on the ground, you leave. If not, they still can't fight. And this is going to apply to pretty much everyone on the bell curve, except that few small 1, 2, maybe at the most 3% on the very extreme edge. And for them, there's nothing like a good old elbow strike to the head. I'm Chris Thomas, and these are some reflections from the master class. Thanks for watching. Now go train.